Great music you need to know about. In this day and age, there are so many artists who are not known. In this article I will detail various artists, whether they are classic greats who impacted music and artists, the world over, and across generations. Like AC/DC Elvis Presley, Lynyrd Skynyrd. Or they are unique artists who create music that is uncommon in this time. Like Sabaton, Corpse Husband, or Wind Rose. This is not a top list, just a collection of singers and groups I want to talk about. The list will be alphabetical, but only so that I can reduce the risk of putting them into the article multiple times. Please excuse any mispronunciations by TTS. The English TTS has trouble with non-English words. But, if you watch Zentreya, you should be fine. As a result of YouTube's rules pertaining to links in descriptions, I will be adding site details to the video.
ZZ Top is an American rock band formed in Houston, Texas, in 1969. It consisted of vocalist-guitarist Billy Gibbons, drummer Frank Beard, and bassist-vocalist Dusty Hill for 51 years until Hill's death in 2021. ZZ Top developed a signature sound based on Gibbons' blues style, and Hill and Beard's rhythm section. They are known for their live performances, sly and humorous lyrics, and the matching appearances of Gibbons and Hill, who wore sunglasses, hats and long beards. ZZ Top formed after Gibbons' band, Moving Sidewalks, disbanded in 1969. Within a year, they signed with London Records and released ZZ Top's first album in 1971. Albums Tos Hombres, 1973 and Fandango, 1975, and singles, La Grange and Tush, gained extensive radio airplay. By the mid-1970s, ZZ Top had become renowned in North America for their live act, including the worldwide Texas tour, 1976-77, which was a critical and commercial success. ZZ Top returned in 1979 with a new musical direction and image, with Gibbons and Hill wearing sunglasses and matching chest-length beards. With the album El Loco, 1981, they began to experiment with synthesizers and drum machines. They established a more mainstream sound and rose to international stardom with Eliminator, 1983, and Afterburner, 1985, which integrated influences from new wave, punk, and dance rock. The popularity of the album's music videos, including For Gimme All Your Loving, Sharp Dressed Man, and Legs, gave them mass exposure on MTV and made them prominent in 1980s pop culture. The Afterburner tour set records for the highest attended and highest grossing of 1986. After the release of their 10th album, Recycler, 1990, and its accompanying tour, the group's experimentation continued with mixed success on the albums Antenna, 1994, Rhythmine, 1996, XXX, 1999, and Mescalero, 2003. They released La Futura, 2012 and Going 50, 2019, a compilation album commemorating the band's 50th anniversary. By the time of Hill's death in 2021, ZZ Top had become the longest-running band with an unchanged lineup in the history of music. Per Hill's wishes, he was replaced by their longtime guitar tech, Elwood Francis, on bass. ZZ Top has released 15 studio albums and sold an estimated 50 million records. They have won 3 MTV Video Music Awards, and in 2004, the members were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In 2015, Rolling Stone ranked Gibbons the 32nd greatest guitarist of all time. The band members have supported campaigns and charities including Childline, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and the Delta Blues Museum. History. Early years. 1969–1972. The original lineup was formed in Houston, and consisted of Gibbons, bassist/organist Lanier Gregg, and drummer Dan Mitchell. The name of the band was Gibbons' idea. The band had a small apartment covered with concert posters, and he noticed that many performers' names used initials. Gibbons particularly noticed B.B. King and Z.Z. Hill and thought of combining the two into Z.Z. King, but considered it too similar to the original name. He then figured that King is at the top, which gave him the idea of naming the band ZZ Top. ZZ Top was managed by Bill Ham, a Waxahachie, Texas, native who had befriended Gibbons a year earlier. They released their first single, Salt Lick, in 1969, and the B-side contained the song Miller's Farm. Both songs credited Gibbons as the composer. Immediately after the recording of Salt Lick, Gregg was replaced by bassist Billy Etheridge, a bandmate of Stevie Ray Vaughan, and Mitchell was replaced by Frank Beard of American Blues. Due to lack of interest from the major American record companies, ZZ Top accepted a record deal from London Records, the American affiliate of the British Decca Records label. Unwilling to sign a recording contract, Etheridge quit the band and Dusty Hill, Frank Beard's American Blues bandmate, became his replacement in late 1969. At this moment, all three members of the band were 20 years old. After Hill moved from Dallas to Houston, ZZ Top signed with London in 1970. They performed their first concert together at a Knights of Columbus Hall in Beaumont, Texas, on the 10th of February 1970. The show was booked by KLVI radio personality Al Caldwell, who was also instrumental in broadcasting the band's first recordings. In addition to assuming the role as the band's leader, Gibbons became the main lyricist and musical arranger. With the assistance of Ham and engineer Robin Hood Bryans, ZZ Top's first album, 1971, was released. It featured barrel house rhythms, distorted guitars, double entendres, and innuendo. The music and songs reflected ZZ Top's blues influences. Following their debut album, the band released Rio Grande Mud, 1972, which produced their first charting single, Francine. First decade of success and signature sound. 1973–1982. ZZ Top released Tes Hombres in 1973, which reached the number 8 position on the Billboard 200 albums chart by early 1974. The album's sound was the result of the propulsive support provided by Hill and Beard, and Gibbons' growling guitar tone. The album included the boogie-driven La Grange, written about the Chicken Ranch, a notorious brothel in La Grange, Texas, that also inspired the musical The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. On the subsequent tour, the band performed sold-out concerts in the U.S. During this tour, ZZ Top recorded the live tracks that would fill one side of their 1975 album, Fandango, which also contained one side of new studio songs. The album charted highly and its single Tush peaked at number 20 on the Billboard Hot 100. ZZ Top began the worldwide Texas tour in May 1976 to support Fandango, and the tour continued through 1977 with 98 shows over 18 months. Tejas, recorded during a break in the tour and released in November 1976, was the final ZZ Top album under their contract with London Records. It was not as successful or as positively received as their previous two efforts, but reached number 17 on the Billboard 200. The singles from Tejas, It's Only Love, and Arrested for Driving While Blind, both failed to crack the top 40 on the Billboard Hot 100. In 1978, after almost 7 years of touring and a string of successful albums, ZZ Top went on hiatus while Beard dealt with addiction problems. Gibbons traveled to Europe, Beard went to Jamaica, and Hill went to Mexico. Hill also spent 3 months working at DFW Airport, saying he wanted to feel normal and ground himself after years spent performing. In 1979, ZZ Top returned to record a new album. Gibbons and Hill were now sporting chest-length beards. ZZ Top signed with Warner Brothers Records and released the album Diggelo in late 1979. While Diggelo went platinum, it only reached number 24 on the Billboard chart. The album produced 2 popular singles, I Thank You, a cover of the David Porter, Isaac Hayes composition originally recorded by Sam and Dave, and the band original Cheap Sunglasses. The band remained a popular concert attraction and toured in support of Diggelo. In April 1980, ZZ Top made their first appearances in Europe, performing for the German music television show Rockpalast, later included on the 2009 DVD Double Down Live, 1980 and 2008, and the BBC show The Old Grey Whistle Test. The band shared the BBC's studio with English electronic group Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, OMD, whom Gibbons felt were great. Inspired by OMD, ZZ Top introduced a jerky dancing style to their live show and began to experiment with synthesizers, which featured prominently on the October 1981 album El Loco. The album peaked at number 17 on the Billboard chart, and featured the singles Tube Snake Boogie, Pearl Necklace, and Layla. Their albums from this period showed a more modern sound. Eliminator. 1983. Hill and Gibbons in 1983. Gibbons pushed ZZ Top in a more modern direction for Eliminator, released in March 1983. It featured 2 top 40 singles, Gimme All Your Loving, and Legs, and 2 additional top rock hits, Got Me Under Pressure, and Sharp Dressed Man, with the extended dance mix of Legs peaking at number 13 on the Club Play Singles chart. The album became a critical and commercial success, selling more than 10 million copies and reaching number 9 in the US Billboard pop charts. It is the only ZZ Top album to be certified diamond. Several music videos from the album were in regular rotation on MTV, attracting many new fans. The band won their first MTV Video Music Awards in the categories of Best Group Video for Legs, and Best Direction for Sharp Dressed Man. The music videos were included in their Greatest Hits video, which was later released on DVD and quickly went multi-platinum. Eliminator retained Gibbons' signature guitar style while adding elements of new wave music. The electronic band Depeche Mode were cited as an influence. To compose the songs, Gibbons worked closely with live-in engineer Lyndon Hudson at the band's rehearsal studio in Texas, setting a faster tempo with drum machines and synthesizers. The main recording sessions were again supervised in Memphis by Terry Manning, who collaborated with Gibbons to replace much of the contributions from Hill and Beard. Jimmy Jamison joined Manning to provide backing vocals. Stage manager David Blaney described how Hudson co-wrote much of the material on the album without receiving credit. The band recorded Hudson's song Thug without permission, finally paying him $600,000 in 1986 after he proved in court he held the copyright. The band had previously used other people's work without credit. For instance, in 1972 ZZ Top claimed sole writing credit for the hit song Francine from the album Rio Grande Mud, cutting out 2 co-writers, Steve Perron and Kenny Cordray. Hudson's extensive contributions to the song Groovy Little Hippie Pad went uncredited in 1981 for the album El Loco. Afterburner and Recycler. 1985–1991. Despite selling fewer copies than Eliminator, Afterburner, 1985 became ZZ Top's highest charting album, number 4 on the US Billboard chart, with sales of 5 million copies. All of the singles from Afterburner were top 40 hits, with Sleeping Bag and Stages topping the mainstream rock chart. The music video for Velcro Fly, their final top 40 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, was choreographed by future pop singer Paula Abdul. In 1987, ZZ Top released the Six Pack, a collection of their first 5 albums plus El Loco. The albums were remixed with new drum and guitar effects for a more contemporary sound similar to Eliminator. Recycler, released in 1990, was ZZ Top's final studio album with Warner Records and the last of a distinct sonic trilogy in their catalog, marking a return towards a simpler guitar-driven blues sound with less synthesizer and pop bounce than their previous 2 albums. This move did not entirely suit the fan base that Eliminator and Afterburner had built up, and while Recycler did achieve platinum status, it never matched the sales of those albums. However, the single My Head's in Mississippi reached number 1 on the Billboard Album Rock Tracks chart that year. Return to guitar-driven sound. 1992–2003. In 1992, Warner released ZZ Top's Greatest Hits, along with a new Rolling Stones style cut, Gun Love, and an Elvis-inflected video, Viva Las Vegas. In 1993, ZZ Top inducted a major influence, Cream, into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In 1994, the band signed a $35 million deal with RCA Records, releasing the million-selling Antenna. Subsequent RCA albums, Rhythmine 1996, and 1999 SXXX, the second album to feature live tracks, sold well, but did not reach the levels enjoyed previously. In 2003, ZZ Top released a final RCA album, Mescalero, an album thick with harsh Gibbons guitar and featuring a hidden track, a cover version of As Time Goes By. RCA impresario Clive Davis wanted to do a collaboration record in the mode of Carlos Santana's successful Supernatural for this album. In an interview in Goldmine magazine, Davis stated that artists Pink, Dave Matthews, and Wilco were among the artists slated for the project. ZZ Top performed Tush and Legs as part of the Super Bowl XXXI halftime show in 1997. A comprehensive 4-CD collection of recordings from the London and Warner Brothers years, Chrome, Smoker and Barbecue, was released in 2003. It featured the band's first single and several rare B-side tracks, as well as a radio promotion from 1979, a live track, and several extended dance mix versions of their biggest MTV hits. 3 tracks from Billy Gibbons' pre-ZZ band, The Moving Sidewalks, were also included. Critical acclaim and retrospective releases. 2004–2011. In 2004, ZZ Top was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones gave the induction speech. ZZ Top gave a brief performance, playing La Grange and Tush. In 2006, Taz Hombres and Fandango received releases of expanded and remastered versions, which used the original mixes free from echo and drum machines and included additional bonus live tracks. The Eliminator Collector's Edition CD/DVD, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the band's iconic RIAA Diamond certified album, was released 10 September 2008. The release includes 7 bonus tracks and a bonus DVD, including 4 television performances from the Tube in November 1983. The band performed at the 2009 Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo on the final night on the 22nd of March 2009. In July, the band appeared on VH1's Storytellers, in celebration of their 4 decades as recording artists. La Futura, 2012–2020. Billy Gibbons stated in an interview in August 2011 that a new album had been recorded, with initial recording taking place in Malibu, California, before moving to Houston, but was still unnamed and had yet to be mixed and mastered. Gibbons said that the expected release date was sometime in March or April 2012, but, later, a late summer or early fall release date was announced. The album was subsequently released on the 11th of September 2012. Entitled La Futura, the album was produced by Rick Rubin. The first single from the album, I Gots to Get Paid, debuted in an advertising campaign for Jeremiah Weed Whiskey and appears on the soundtrack of the film Battleship. The song itself is an interpretation of 25 Lighters by Texan hip-hop DJ DMD and rappers Lil Kick and Fat Pat. The first 4 songs from La Futura debuted on the 5th of June, 2012, on an EP called Texacali. DJ Screw was a major influence on the album as well, particularly because Gibbons and Screw both worked with engineer G.L. Moon during the late 1990s. On the 3rd of March, 2015, ZZ Top began a North American tour in Red Bank, New Jersey, at the Count Basie Theater. After rescheduled dates and additions, the tour ended in Highland Park, Illinois, at the Ravinia Festival on the 27th of August, with the opening act Blackberry Smoke. Jeff Beck joined ZZ Top for 7 concerts. On the 9th of September, 2016, ZZ Top released Tonight at Midnight, live greatest hits from around the world. In 2017, they began the 2017 Tonnage Tour, but cancelled the last few dates due to Hill's declining health. 50. In 2018, the band announced their 6-day Las Vegas run of shows to be held at the Venetian, starting from the 20th of April 2019. Gibbons told Las Vegas Review-Journal in April 2020 that ZZ Top had been preparing another album. On the 21st of June 2020, Gibbons stated interest in having Beck appear. Hill's death and upcoming album. 2021 present. In July 2021, Hill was forced to leave a tour after a hip injury. ZZ Top performed without him at the Village Commons in New Lenox, Illinois, with Hill's guitar tech Elwood Francis on bass. 5 days later, on the 28th of July, ZZ Top announced that Hill had died at his home in Houston at the age of 72. His wife later reported that he had suffered from chronic bursitis. At Hill's request, ZZ Top continued with Francis on bass. In August 2021, Gibbons confirmed that Hill had recorded bass and vocals for the band's upcoming 16th studio album prior to his death. On the 22nd of July 2022, ZZ Top released Raw, the soundtrack for the band's 2019 documentary That Little Ol' Band from Texas, via Shelter Records /BMG. It was one of their final live albums with Hill. On the 21st of July, 2023, ZZ Top began a tour with LYNYRDSKYNYRD, the Sharp-Dressed Simple Man Tour, in West Palm Beach, which concluded on the 17th of September in Camden. A second leg of the tour began in March 2024 in Savannah, Georgia, and is due to end on the 22nd of September in Rugerfield, Washington. On the 2nd of March 2024 in Key West, ZZ Top embarked on the Elevation Tour due to continue through the 24th of November 2024 in Lubbock. Other appearances. ZZ Top appeared in a cameo in Back to the Future Part 3 as an Old West band, playing an acoustic version of their song Double Back with a large fiddle band. ZZ Top played Super Bowl XXXI in 1997, along with the Blues Brothers and James Brown. They also performed at the 2008 Orange Bowl game in Miami, as well as the Auto Club 500 NASCAR event at the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. On the 23rd of June, 2008, the band celebrated the release of their first live concert DVD titled Live from Texas with the world premiere, a special appearance, and charity auction at the Hard Rock Cafe in Houston. The DVD was officially released on the 24th of June, 2008. The featured performance was culled from a concert filmed at the Nokia Theater in Grand Prairie, Texas, on the 1st of November, 2007. On the 22nd of January, 2010, Billy Gibbons, Will Ferrell, and Beck joined a band playing LYNYRD/SKYNYRD's Free Bird on Conan O'Brien's Last Tonight Show appearance. O'Brien joined in on guitar. In June 2011, various media sources reported that the new song Flying High would debut in space. Astronaut and friend of ZZ Top Michael Fossum was given the released single to listen to on his trip to the International Space Station. On the 4th of June, 2014, ZZ Top opened the CMT Awards ceremony, performing La Grange with Luke Bryan and Florida Georgia Line. Musical style. ZZ Top's music has been classified as blues rock, hard rock, boogie rock, southern rock, blues, and Texas blues. Drug use. Beard struggled with addiction in the 1970s, claiming to have spent every bit of his money earned from ZZ Top's tours on drugs. Beard explains that he had different reasons for taking different drugs. Beard would eventually enter rehab in the 1980s and is sober to this day. Hill would occasionally partake in marijuana until one occasion in a hotel in Amsterdam when Hill was smoking marijuana with guitar tech Elwood Francis, and Francis noticed that there was a metal bar embedded into the window frame of the hotel room. Francis, seeing an opportunity for a prank, jumped out the window and, unbeknownst to Hill, grabbed onto the metal bar, making it appear that he had committed suicide. Hill apparently never smoked marijuana again after the incident. Band members. Current members. Billy Gibbons. Guitars, lead, and backing vocals. 1969–present. Frank Beard. Drums, percussion. 1969–present. Elwood Francis. Bass, backing and lead vocals, keyboards. 2021–present. Former members. Dan Mitchell. Drums. 1969 Lania Gregg. Organ, bass. 1969, died 2013. Billy Etheridge. Bass. 1969–1970. Dusty Hill. Bass, backing and lead vocals, keyboards. 1970–2021, his death. Discography. Studio albums. ZZ Top's first album. 1971 Rio Grande Mud. 1972 Tos Hombres. 1973 Fandango. 1975 Tejas. 1976 Degelo. 1979 El Loco. 1981 Eliminator. 1983 Afterburner. 1985 Recycler. 1990 Antenna. 1994 Rhythmine. 1996 XXX. 1999 Mescalero. 2003 La Futura. 2012 Filmography. In addition to recording and performing concerts, ZZ Top has also been involved with films and television. In the 8th episode, Sweet Dreams, in the 3rd season of the American television medical drama Saint Elsewhere, Luther Hawkins's dream sequence was a parody of the music video Legs with the group while taking a brief nap in a janitor's closet, In 1990, the group appeared as the band at the party in the film Back to the Future Part 3, and played the three men in a tub in the movie Mother Goose Rock 'n' Rhyme. ZZ Top made further appearances, including the Gumby with a Pokey episode of 2.5 Men in 2010, and the Hank Gets Dusted episode of King of the Hill in 2007. The band also guest hosted an episode of WWE Raw. Billy Gibbons had a recurring role as the father of Angela Montenegro in the television show Bones, starring everyone's favorite vampire with a soul, David Boreanaz. Though the character is never named, it is strongly implied that Gibbons is playing himself. Their song Sharp Dressed Man was one of the theme songs used for the television show Duck Dynasty, and on the series finale of the show they appeared with Cy Robertson as a vocalist to perform the song on stage during Robertson's retirement party. Black Dahlia Films, led by Jamie Burton Chamberlain, of Seattle and Los Angeles, has contributed documentaries and backline screen work and has become an integral part of the band's filmmaking. In November 2020, it was announced that the 2019 Netflix documentary That Little Ol' Band from Texas was nominated for the Grammy Award for Best Music Film, with the award ceremony scheduled for March 2021. Awards and achievements. ZZ Top's music videos won multiple VMA awards during the 1980s, topping the categories of Best Group Video, Best Direction, and Best Art Direction for Legs, Sharp Dressed Man, and Rough Boy, respectively. Among high honors for ZZ Top have been induction into Hollywood's Rock Walk in 1994, the Texas House of Representatives naming them official heroes for the state of Texas, a declaration of ZZ Top Day in Texas by then-Governor Ann Richards on the 4th of May, 1991, and induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004. They were also given commemorative rings by actor Billy Bob Thornton from the VH1 Rock Honors in 2007. ZZ Top has also achieved several chart and album sales feats, including 6 #1 singles on the mainstream rock chart. From the RIAA, ZZ Top has earned 4 gold, 3 platinum and 2 multiple platinum album certifications, and 1 diamond album.